Hi everybody, welcome back for another ASMR yoga session. I'm so glad that you came back to join me. This week we are doing a yoga session to help deal with overwhelm, which I'm sure everybody can use at some point in their life because this world that we live in can be quite overwhelming. So we are going to get started on that in just a second. Just a few things. If you are new here, welcome. My name's Misty. This is my little yoga studio where we do everything in an ASMR style. If you've been enjoying my videos, if you could like them, leave a comment if you have anything you'd like to say or any suggestions, and subscribe to my channel. That would be a great way for you to support me so that I can continue to help this channel grow and continue to put out this content that I very much enjoy making for people. Other than that, down in the descriptions below, you will find links if you would like to work with me one-on-one, either with yoga or with coaching sessions specifically related to breaking toxic habit cycles. For me, it was booze. You might have something else you're dealing with, but you can find the link down in the comments below. Also, there will be a link to subscribe to my newsletter, which if you subscribe, you win a free, well, you are entered to win a free session with me, entered into a drawing. Okay, anyways, I think that's it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As I said, today's session is to help deal with overwhelm. And in my experience, I feel that when I'm overwhelmed, and from what I notice about other people when they are overwhelmed, it's often because we're either worried about the future or we're dwelling on the past, right? So we're definitely not living in the present moment if we're overwhelmed, because in the present moment, everything is completely okay and as it should be. So this session, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to focus on our breath in the beginning to drop into the present moment, okay? Really drop into our bodies, drop into this moment, and let everything else go. And then we are going to do some asana that is going to help activate our solar plexus chakra and our heart chakra. So the solar plexus is where we find our personal power, our fire that burns internally, and that is going to help us get through all the to-dos, all the things that we might be worried about in the future. That solar plexus is going to help us burn through those obstacles with ease. And then our heart chakra, we want to activate and open up because this is where our ability to love ourselves, to love others, to accept ourselves and accept others, right, is all in the heart space. And that's going to allow us to let the past be what it is. You know, it's already happened, it's done, and we can accept it and appreciate it, that it was there for a reason, and move on. Okay, so to get started, we will begin on our backs. As always, I've got a little blanket just to make things more comfortable for me, for my knees, for my back. I just like having one. If you want to go grab one really quick, you could. You don't need it though. So we'll go ahead and get started. You can lay down on your back. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. We're just going to take 1 minute to focus on the breath, okay? So we're going to lengthen our inhales and exhales. We'll do this by counting to 4 for the inhale and 6 for the exhale. We'll do this 3 times, okay? Blow all of your breath out. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and do it one more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really good. Go ahead and just gently let your knees rock from left to right, massaging the back of the hips, massaging the lumbar spine. The soles of our feet are remaining in contact with the earth. Just gently bringing some movement into the body. Continuing to breathe deeply. Go ahead and pull both knees in towards the chest. We're going to begin to fire up our solar plexus. So on an inhale, we're going to have the knees tucked up in towards the chest. On an exhale, we're going to tap the toes down to the mat, and then inhale and back up. Hands will be down by your sides for support. The whole core needs to stay active for this. You don't want your back bowing up. You want your back to remain in contact with the ground when we tap our toes, okay? So we're firing up that solar plexus, our personal power. Okay. Tuck the knees in. Inhale. Exhale, tap. Inhale, tuck. Exhale, tap. Keep going, following your own breath pattern. The next inhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Exhale, feet come back down to the mat. We're moving through a dynamic bridge pose. So on an inhale, the hip points are going to lift up towards the sky. We press into our feet. Arms are going to come up and overhead. And on the exhale, we lower everything down. Okay, the legs, the glutes, the core, everything is active throughout this movement, okay? And let's go ahead and begin. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Do it 4 more times, following your own breath cycle. Really good. Tuck your knees back in towards your chest. And we're just going to rock and roll up to a seated position. If that's not comfortable for you, you can just roll to one side, coming up into seated. And we're going to cross over. Okay. We're going to come into plank and hold for 10 breaths, okay? Pushing away from the ground. The entire body is active, full of energy. And we're breathing. I said 10, we're going to do 5. Okay, lower the knees down to the mat. Now that we have our solar plexus fired up, we're going to move into the heart chakra. So we're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. On the inhale, drop that belly down towards the mat. Extend through the sternum and chest. Pelvis tilts up. Exhale, reverse everything. Come back to a neutral spine. We are going to come into puppy pose. So if you're kind of far up on the front of your mat, maybe move back a little bit. We're going to keep the hips stacked over the knees. And from tabletop, we're just going to walk our hands out. And then slowly let the chest and the forehead melt down to the mat. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath, breathing into the heart space. So let everything melt down. On your next inhale, we're going to slide forward. The belly comes down to the mat. We're coming into Sphinx pose. So the elbows should just be a little in front of the shoulders. Forearms are down on the mat, very active. Fingers are spread. We're pressing into the mat. And the chest is pulling forward through the arms. A few rounds of breath here. Imagine with every inhale that your heart is expanding. Really good. We're going to come into child's pose. So plant the hands, come up on the knees. The knees should be a little wider than hip width distance. We're coming into a type of thread the needle. So our bottom half is going to be in child's pose. We're going to extend the right arm long, and this left one is going to tuck under, and we're going to come down onto the left shoulder and the left cheek, okay? So allow the body to melt down. We're really breathing into the back of our heart space now. Use that right hand to gently press back up. We're going to switch arms. So the left arm extends long, right arm threads under. We're coming down to our right shoulder, right cheek. Few rounds of breath. And press back into the left hand. Coming back up to a seated position. And clasp your hands behind your back. Press your fist package down towards the ground, expanding through the chest. Just a couple rounds of breath. Really good. Go ahead and release. Hands onto our knees or thighs. And we're just going to take one more minute. Go back to focusing on the breath. Observing how we feel compared to when we started this practice. Hopefully you feel more light, more open, more powerful, more in the present moment than you did before we started. So let's do a few rounds of breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right, really good. So that will be all for this week's practice. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, if you have any suggestions, leave a comment. And of course, you can check out the links below to work with me one-on-one or subscribe to my newsletter.